I'm Lloyd Holiday, and this is the Cost of a Thing podcast. Thanks for listening in today. So what happened to that great standard of living that we enjoyed here in America in the 1960s? The answers to that question is what the Cost of a Thing podcast is all about. Okay, today I'm going to do something that I've titled the 12 Days of Christmas Impeachment. I've watched this drama unfolding for the last 3 years, ever since Donald Trump decided to run for president, and then he won. All the repercussions of that. And this is kind of a play on the old Christmas song, 12 Days of Christmas. You know, it goes, "On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me." I forget what the first thing they gave, it was a partridge in a pear tree, okay? If you want to listen to that song, I'm sure there's thousands of versions on YouTube or out on the internet that sing a lot better than me. I'd probably try to find maybe an Engelbert Humperdinck or a Tom Jones, one of those great voices from the 60s and 70s, to sing the 12 Days of Christmas. And speaking of Engelbert Humperdinck, I was watching and listening to a YouTube video last night, one of his performances, and he was in Las Vegas in, I think it was 1982. It is in his prime, singing one of his best songs, maybe his best song, "After the Lovin'," which came out in 1977 or so. And just a great performance, and just kind of lets you know how talented and how great these guys were. What a great voice. What a great entertainer. And he's got one of these suits on, kind of like an Elvis type outfit. He was in his prime years over there in Las Vegas. And hey, if you want to watch a great video, go check that out. And reading the comments, you can see a lot of people got married after they danced to that song and so forth. It's pretty good, pretty entertaining. And of course, back in the 60s and 70s and those years, Engelbert was quite a big star with the ladies. Even my mom, I remember her commenting she wanted to watch him when he came on TV in those years. And this is meant to be kind of a comedic, like I said, a parody, kind of a humorous thing. I hope nobody takes it too seriously. And let me start off by saying that I am an independent voter. I'm not with one of the two big parties or any party. I'm just independent. I vote for who I think is the best person, and I vote by issue. I don't vote for a basket of issues like the parties do. That apparently everybody in that party is for almost everything that is in the party platforms or that kind of thing. No, I vote by issue, whatever I think is the most important issues to me, not by party. But when Trump got elected, I've never in my life seen the other party go as crazy as they have about losing an election. Just, I think, complete disrespect for the office and for the person. And it's disrespectful to all the people who voted for Trump that have a different opinion than they do. Really hysteria and just completely over the top response. And that is what my 12 days of Christmas impeachment are. And these are 12 things that I've noticed that hysteria has brought forth into all of our lives, and probably we've all seen them. I'm just kind of putting them together in one format. Yeah, I think it's an extreme boatload of arrogance there to try to remove or even act like they're going to try to remove the president who was voted in fair and square. And all of these things that I'm going to talk about, the 12 days of Christmas impeachment here, I think are, in a way, they've created trouble where there is no trouble. And you've seen people do that in your lives, I'm sure. And whenever that happens, trouble is created where there is no trouble. And humans really can only do that. It is a form of evil. Okay, the first day of Christmas impeachment, we all remember it. Trump wasn't even elected yet. And it came out that somebody recorded some locker room discussion with some guy about some woman, and Trump said something about that woman that, in a rather crude terms, but it was supposed to be private, and he didn't know it was being recorded. He never would have said that. But, and the media went wild with this. It was on 24 hours a day. They thought they had just bounced Trump out of the, he was going to resign. There was all this talk. He'll never get elected. He can't, it just was a hysteria for must have been a week. This was in 2016, probably in October or September, somewhere just before the election. And that was the first massive hysteria of the media, with all of the media almost, except maybe the right-wing media, was just hammering this with this, and the nastiest words were being put across TV by the media. I mean, Trump said it, but they had to repeat it all over the place. And that was the first day of Christmas impeachment for me. It was as if this was some kind of an insult to women, to their honor or something like that. I don't see it that way at all, and I think most people did not. But the press tried to build it up that way. Oh, he hates women and all this stuff. No, I think he loves women. What man hasn't said something about an attractive woman in maybe a lustful moment or whatever in their lifetime? I can't. If you're attracted to women, you're probably going to say this. This isn't like the Ozzie and Harriet show or some kind of a thing like that where that kind of thing isn't said. It's real life, and he was being recorded. Well, anyway, and I would even go further. What woman hasn't said something like that in a group of women about men? Maybe a sexual comment like that. That would be, they're trying to say it's demeaning to women. I don't think it is. I think that he just found that woman very attractive and he was interested. Okay, the second day of Christmas impeachment, as I call it, was on the night Trump won the election. It was about 11 p.m. here out on the West Coast. And, I thought, wow, I can't believe it. He won. And, I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. I wasn't really happy or sad, or I was just like, well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. See what he does. Well, the reaction again was hysteria by the media, by the opposite party, the public crying. I've never seen public crying except maybe when JFK got assassinated back in the early 60s. Public crying right on TV. They don't care. They came on the internet. Those guys on YouTube crying and whining about this. Grown men doing this. I can't even believe they did that. Okay, the third day of Christmas impeachment was also on election night. And I was watching this thing. It was about midnight, and they were getting ready to say that Hillary Clinton was going to concede the election. And I thought, well, she'll come out and make a speech like they always do and thank her supporters and, kind of give them a little pep talk and say we're going to do better next time and all this. She didn't even show up. Didn't even come out. Sent some other guy out. Some guy with glasses came out. I don't even know who he was. And he says, well, she can't come out. Well, I thought that was just very, I don't know, I thought it was rude. And was she too emotionally shocked and weakened to come out? And that she fainted or something? Or we never really did hear, but she just didn't come out. But to me, that didn't say a lot about her strength of her constitution, of herself, or her strength of character. Because I've never seen that before, where the opposite party at the end didn't say, hey, you did a little better job and you got the voters to vote for you. Got to give you some credit. We don't like it. We're going to try harder next time. Okay, then the fourth day of Christmas impeachment. Okay, Trump won and his supporters were happy, and the other side was protesting in the streets, some of them. Well, the election was over. Okay, what happened then? The media and I guess the left-wingers and all these people, they were talking somehow like the Electoral College was going to be so turned off by Trump that the Republican electoral votes would vote for Hillary, and enough of them would change sides, and then that would put Hillary in, and they would overturn the election like that. So they're already talking about overturning the election, not just getting rid of Trump before the election. Now he's already been elected. Now they want the electoral college, and this was seriously talked about quite a while, all the way up until the day where the electors voted, I don't know, a month or so later, and finally they all voted the way they were elected by the people to vote in the states, and then that ended that. And then we have the fifth day of Christmas impeachment, and this happened right after the election in 2016. Immediately, some of the states were within, I don't know, maybe 20, 30, 40,000 votes. And Jill Stein wanted a recount. So that went on for a couple, 3 weeks right around that time. And they counted these votes and it came out the same. The state still lost. So I found that whole thing comical. I mean, okay, do the recount, but Jill Stein is doing the recount? I mean, why didn't Hillary do the recount? I don't know. So it was another, like a Hail Mary pass kind of a thing, and I just found it completely hysterical. This is all these hysterical and desperate things are going on because Donald Trump won. Okay, now the sixth day of Christmas impeachment is the mainstream media's full-time, 24-hour a day, 365 days per year hatred of everything Trump. That is out there. That's what they've been doing. That's their job. They do that every day. And then you got these late night talk shows on top of that. And I'll just throw that in on the same, number 6 here. They're anti-Trump the whole time, and they're supposed to be funny and all that. Well, I don't know, not that funny. I remember that, like Johnny Carson, he never even brought up politics. He was funny, and he never would have done that. It's disrespectful to turn off half your audience, and it's just now that's standard procedure, I guess, and. Well, that's the sixth day of Christmas impeachment. And I have to just say, I miss Johnny and his ways of doing things. And the other celebrities then were not coming out. A lot of the celebrities are, putting out their political opinions, and it's arrogant and it's disrespectful to the people who don't agree with them. I don't think they should be doing that, but that seems to be the trend. Okay, the seventh day of Christmas impeachment is the continual drumbeat for several years now that Donald Trump is a racist. I can't see it. I don't see that he's a racist. He's got a lot of black friends. He's got black people in his administration. He's got a lot of, I think, different minorities, different ethnic groups. Every one that I've seen, and I think he likes minorities, and but they keep beating the drum the whole time. And if something happens, and then he doesn't speak out enough, they say he didn't speak out enough, so he was a racist. It's incredible. That, to me, is the seventh day of Christmas impeachment. Okay, and now the eighth day of Christmas impeachment, and I saw this many times on the news and different places on YouTube, on different videos, where they actually would have psychologists, like a group of psychologists, and come on, and they would interview them and about and they would determine that Donald Trump is mentally ill, that he's like a narcissist, or he's some kind of I can't remember all of the diagnoses they did, but they actually, we're going to try to use that. The Democrats were going to try to use that, the left wing, to try to get Donald Trump removed from office that way, because he's incompetent. He's not thinking. He's not thinking straight. And really, all it was is they just don't like his policies. They don't like his policies. Maybe they don't like his personality. He's certainly not mentally ill. He's a very sharp guy, from what I can tell. Unbelievable that they would try to go down that road, and they did go down it. And that was the Donald Trump is mentally ill was the eighth day of Christmas impeachment. Another, ray of hope that maybe they can use something in the Constitution to have him removed because he's mentally ill. Okay, it's the ninth day of Christmas impeachment. And what they did on the ninth day is they're investigating his taxes, Trump's taxes. There's got to be something in there that they can use to get rid of Trump. And they've been pounding that, I think, the whole 3 years, and trying to get his taxes. He doesn't want to release his taxes. I don't know. I don't care about his taxes. I figure that's between, him and his government, him and the IRS. If the IRS is happy with his taxes, I'm happy with it. But they thought they're still trying to get it. I heard the other day there's some court cases going on where they're trying to get a hold of those taxes, because obviously he had to do something wrong in there, because he's got, billions of dollars, and he's got to be shady. So that's the ninth day. Now we are up to the 10th day of Christmas impeachment. And that is more investigations. They started it through Congress somehow. And they were investigating his old ex-lawyer, a guy named Manafort. And there was some trouble there where Trump said something or did something inappropriately. I don't know, hooker or somebody, porn star or something he had dealt with. I don't know, sir, maybe somebody from a beauty contest. That I don't even know if any of it was true. Probably not, because it didn't go anywhere. So, but they talked about it like, this is it. We've got him now. He did something with this lawyer, and the lawyer's gonna, put the finger on him or something. They went on and on about it. Another hysterical, hanging on to their hopes that they're going to be able to get rid of this Donald Trump. Okay, the 11th day of Christmas impeachment, of course, was the Russia investigation. The idea that Donald Trump had somehow colluded with the Russians to win the election. And somehow the Russians helped him, and he was going to now have to pay back that favor to the Russians, to President Putin of Russia. And this thing, I knew it was, just by common sense, I knew it was ridiculous, because why would Trump need Putin to put ads into the papers and whatever? Why would he need him? He could just put the ads in himself. I mean, just didn't never make any sense to me, and that's how I knew it was baloney. And it turned out to be. There was nothing there. No collusion. When the Mueller report was done, nothing. So this thing went on for 2 years. And the press, some of these channels, I mean, they spent their entire, I don't know how many people work for these places, these big news agencies, but they must have had hundreds of people working on this for 2 years. And it was nothing. Nothing ever materialized out of it. There was nothing there. Trump never colluded with Russia. And I remember a couple of times, or one time at least, while this whole Russia hoax investigation was going on with Mueller and all that for 2-something years, Trump actually went to a summit, and the Russian president happened to be there, Mr. Putin, and they actually met and talked, and they had to have an interpreter. So they went into a private area and talked for a while. And the Democrats, they wanted to, after that was done, and they made a big deal of it on the news, like, oh my God, he's over there colluding with them again. And they actually wanted, in Congress, I heard them talking about it, I don't know if they ever did it, they wanted to get the interpreter to interview him to see if anything, shady was said between the two, if they were still trying to collude with one another. It was just insane. It still is. I think people still believe that they did collude. It's amazing. The level of it's got to be a type of brainwashing, really. It just never happened. So that was the big 11th day of Christmas impeachment. And we've reached the 12th day of Christmas impeachment. So it's the same group. You got the Democrats, the liberals. They don't like Trump, and they didn't like the outcome of the Mueller report on the Russia hoax, and they didn't get anything to go after Trump with. So immediately they came up with something else to impeach Trump with. They couldn't get his taxes yet. They haven't got that. They couldn't get him on some of these other investigations. So they're going to come up with something new. They came up with a whistleblower. And now apparently there was some things that the Democrats did not like on the way he talked to the Ukrainian government on the phone. He said something wrong, and they think they've got him on some kind of a vague technicality. I can't see it, but they think they've got him. And now they're not going to put this to a guy like Mueller, a trained investigator like an FBI guy, an independent investigator. They're going to investigate it themselves now. See, this way they can control the outcome of the investigation. They can control the report, and that's what they've done here, basically. They've said, well, we didn't like this independent thing. It didn't come out with the conclusion we wanted, so they are going to make their own investigation, and then they can come out with whatever conclusion they want, as long as they've got 51% of the votes in the House of Representatives. And of course, they've got like a I don't know what it is, 233 to something. They've got more than half the votes. So they if they can convince all the Democrats to do it, they can impeach Trump on anything if they want to, with 51% of the votes. And just to wrap up, if the Democrats want to win and get their side in the presidency, just a suggestion from a regular guy out here in YouTube land, put up some great candidates with some great ideas and some great policies. Some charismatic candidates that really, punched it out in life and came out on top. And now they're ready to lead and be president. And they've got some good ideas that the American people can get behind. And then they'll get their votes. That's what I would suggest, rather than these hysterical, desperate, kind of, let's find something more we can hope, some hope that we can get rid of Donald Trump this way. No, you got to beat him in an election. You got to get a good candidate, a candidate that has better ideas, a candidate that is a better person, a better guy for the job, or a woman for the job. And also, in the spirit of Christmas, and one of my favorite movies of all time, Christmas Vacation, I'm going to do my best Clark Griswold as they are all getting ready to light the 25,000 lights that he put on his house there in that movie. Joy to the world! And I hope everyone out there has a Merry Christmas for 2019 and beyond. Thank you for listening in today. And until next time, this is Lloyd Holiday signing off.